Alright, I thought I was live and I wasn't, so I have to say good afternoon now. My techie informed me didn't push the live button, so there you go. It's still sunny outside. Judy Allen here, San Antonio, Texas, and I feel a little warm. I have to drink water. It is because it was cool this morning and it's warming up outside. It feels like it's warming up inside too. So anyway, we're going to be using the Garden Wishes. It's something that was retired, but they brought back for a special this month. So if you wanted it before and didn't get it, now's a good time to get it. But we're going to be doing some heat embossing, which is always fun. And I've also done some die cutting, which I'm going to show you that I did as well too. So with that, let me go down the hands and we'll get started. Alright, so we're going to be creating with the dandelions today. And they are blooming right now here in San Antonio. So I want to do it because I like dandelions. But just to show you the different dyes, I'm going to use some of these already. I've already pre-die cut some things. But I just wanted to show you because everybody always asks, this is a flat side, so it always goes facing up. And this is the cutting side, and it always goes down. So what happens is when you run it through the machine there, you're putting it between plates with your paper. And as a result, then what happens is you get it die cut out. See that right there? So that's how it all works. That's how it all works. When somebody says it's die cutting or they're using a die, it's because it's literally cutting. Alright, so let's set some of this aside. These are the first two stamps I'm going to use right now. I'm going to go ahead and do the heat embossing first because I have to get the tool here, heating tool. This is scissor, and we're going to use some Versamark. And I've already got my sentiments that I want, and I already have the flower that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do one first, and I'll do the other one. Because it's powder, and let me go get that powder open too. I feel like I got 3 thumbs today. I feel like I'm just waiting to do something that I don't want to do. How's that sound? And I'm just going to put this one over to the side. And I'm going to put some powder. You'll see that it's changed colors a little bit. And that's where I know I'm going to put my powder. And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to do it today. And it's just because I'm not going to stamp the whole flower, alright? This is what, I don't know what you call it, but my 5-year-old granddaughter calls this the wishing flower. And you know what? She is so right. Because don't we always make wishes with it? Let's see if I want to do it this way. I think I'm going to do it this way. Before the ink dries, and I have to do this. And man, we make wishes. We make wishes. And I'm just using one color, so it does come different colors. I'm using white, and that's why I did this color cardstock for the moment, because in order for you to see it, right, we have to put it on a different color than white. So all I'm going to do is dust this off. And you see I got just a little bit of leaves, which is what I was trying to do. And then I'm going to have to move this a second because I really don't want to blow this stuff all over the place. Right? Because this is powder, and yes, it will blow all over the place. Like sand. So you don't want to do that. Let's clean off my stamp real quick. But I got to heat this up. Okay, I'm not sure I got that either. Then let me heat this up. Oh, no, just a second. And I'm blocked. Sounds like a hair dryer. Just turn it on high. And for me, actually I learned this from another granddaughter. And she actually uses this to hold on to it because you know what? That paper gets hot. So this tool is just heating up. I'm just letting it heat up a moment. Let me just put this to the side so I don't accidentally blow that. And you're going to see as it heats up, it's going to change colors. It's white, but it's going to be whiter. And I'm just doing the heat right here. And we're just going to heat it up. Paper's going to heat up, and it's going to heat up, and it'll start seeing it. See how it's turning white right now? That's tons of fun. I almost did it in black because somebody I know loves black, but I thought, no. Today's a beautiful, sunshiny day. I want my puff flower to look like a wishing flower, look like a wishing flower. Okay, and there we go. We're done. So all it was is use an Versamark, and we had to put some powder on top of it after we stamped. We put our stamp in there, and there we go. We got a very beautiful, simple little card. And look at the shine. It's very shiny when it heats up. It's very obvious when it's heated up because it's shiny. No matter what color you use, it comes out shiny. Alright, so there's our simple card, simple stamping. We just used a heating tool to heat it up. Some special ink there so that we could do that with it. Alright, so I'm just going to take my leftover here and put it right back where it came from. I had dreams of just causing a big mess. Alright, so let's move along to our second card. Our second card that I'm going to do, I already in advance, because I wasn't going to do the brushing technique today, but I did. I just want to show you I used the brush here, and I used bright yellow. It's called Daffodil Delight. It is bright yellow. It goes along those very beautiful dandelions. Alright, I've already pre-punched this, and I'm going to show you, this is the one I made originally with green. I'm going to do this one in yellow. So let's see what you like, which you like better. We're going to use the stamp with all the dandelions on it. Whoop, whoop. Hi Lourdes. Hi Lexi. I enjoyed you the other day, Lexi. We had fun. And hi Jennifer. Whoop, whoop. Alright, so originally I used Old Olive, and I decided I'm going to do this one. I'm going to change it to Granny Apple Green. So a little bit brighter green, so you'll have to let me, I went brighter. The sun's out today, and I went brighter. I thought, you know what, I have the right to change my mind, and I did. So all I'm going to do is stamp this here. Alright, so I'm going to show you in just a second, see what you think you like better. Since Lourdes and Lexi are there, maybe they can tell us. So, do you like the olive green better, or do you like the Granny Apple Green? Because I haven't colored these leaves. And I don't know that I'm going to color them necessarily right now, but I have choices, right? I always have choices. Now, the only thing I'm going to do, you can come see me anytime, Lexi, anytime, anytime. I don't care what your mother says, you can come see me anytime. Alright, so what I did for the middle of this here is all I did is took a different color, took a little bit deeper yellow. This is crushed curry. And I just stamped it right over there, right there, because that's what it's designed to do, right? And there we go, get that whole little fluffy effect from the dandelion flowers. Later I'm going to post for you guys some real dandelion flowers so you can see the difference. Okay, so Lourdes likes this one better. She says that really makes it pop. Okay, so I'm going to continue with this here. So the way I filled in the flowers here, I actually just took a blender pen. And I'll use one of these. I just dabbed it here. You've seen me do this before, I've colored. And I just take this here with a blender pen, and I get the color off of here, and I just fill it in. And that's going to give you that darker, a little bit darker color. Not much darker, but still, if you went outside and compared it to a dandelion, depends how close you want to get to it. I happen to like dandelions, so I wanted to get as close as I could. I'm not sure. I didn't pick a flower to find out because they weren't up yet. These weren't even out yet, so it just shows you how cold it was. Well, the thing is Lourdes too, is I think the other thing, I don't know, that might help it to pop too, that I really liked that I did this time too, was to do the brushing of the light yellow behind it. Originally I wasn't, but you know, it looked so plain. And so I went ahead and did that. But I'm like you, I think the darker looks much nicer. It really picks it up. So maybe I'll have to make another one. And I just always make sure I clean my brush off. So if I go and dip it in another color, it's not going to do that. And the only other thing is, so now you have to tell me, Lourdes, whether you like the yellow, which I'm fixing to do right now, or the green better. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on dimensionals because I'm gonna stamp the other item and put it up here. So for me, it doesn't really. Let's see if I can get some dimensionals here. So for me, it doesn't matter if I stamped it right now or I stamped it in just a moment. lots of times I try to get the stamping done first, especially if you're going to be right there. But you know, I was just in a sunshine mood today. I want some sunshine. It's been dark some days. And we're just going to stamp this. I could, you know what I can do? I could easily stamp this with a green instead of black. We have a tendency to use black. I have a tendency to use black. I don't have to. I could just as easily stamp this with a darker green. Some days to me green is a green is a green is a green, just depending on what you need, right? And then I'm just gonna fussy cut this in a rectangle, okay? That's all I'm gonna do. You don't have to do anything else. I did punch this out, but this I'm not, because I'm just gonna put it on top. I'm just gonna lay it on top just like I did that one. And yes, I'm using my scraps because that's all I need, right? I didn't have to go and get a special sheet of paper or anything. And I'll just trim it down until it fits. All right? Is it going to be perfectly straight? I have no idea, right? Some days seems like I cut perfectly straight. Other days you're like, was I chasing the dog down or chasing something down or whatever? Now this one looks like it's just a little bit off, and I'll try a little bit again. But if not, you know what? It'll be okay. So then I'm just going to put up here, and I can put some bling on here as well too. Get some more. So I'm just going to put, now the thing is, you want to make sure that these are on the inside, closer here than the outside, because we want to make sure that when you stick it down, it's like right here, right? Earlier, I made the mistake of that when I was doing something else, and it was like, really? So, there you go. Now, thing that I would do here is I would definitely add some bling here, and what I brought up here to add for bling is some bumblebees. Yeah, I like these bumblebees, and I still have a few left, so I'm going to use these bumblebees to put up here, because I think they are way too cute, and because I can, right? Because I can. It's just, for me, it's simple and elegant. It's stepped up. We went beyond stamping. We've actually punched something. We used some dimensionals, and I'm waiting for my glue. Alright. Oh, there we go. Alright, then I'm just going to put my bumblebee right here. And there you go. I've got a very simple card. And there you go. And they know that I love dandelions. So when they get it, they're not going to be totally surprised. So, oh, thank you. There you go. Here's one with the green, and then one with the yellow. Just changing out a few colors can make a difference. Alright, let me set that aside, and let us get to the third card that we're going to do. So the third card is where I've done, and I'll get some of these stamps out of the way. We'll use some of them. So this one is going to be a little bit different because we're going to do layers, right? We're going to step it up. So this is our most stepped up card here. So I've already got some cardstock. I'm going with the bright yellow, and you can see that I've already done the brushing here. You can see the yellow. It's hard to see from a distance, but up close you can barely see. It's a bright yellow. It mixes in with the white, so you can't really see it too good on the camera, but it's going to go right here, okay? So I'm going to stamp this first though. So I'm actually going to do some stamping and die cutting on here, both. Alright? And I'm looking for my stamp here. This is here. I'm going to use this one here first. Alright, so Lourdes likes a darker green, so we're going to go with a darker green here. And truly, if you ever go outside and look at dandelions, you'll see that actually their color leaves will change, you know? Sometimes they'll be very bright green, and other times they are a little bit darker and all, especially as they get older. And I'm just going to stamp this right here. Alright, and then in addition to this, we are going to add some die cutting. Now I already pre-die cut this, and I was showing you a while ago how to die cut that. So this was die cut and then stamped on. So we're going to put this up on dimensionals, and yes, it's okay. It is okay to sit up there and stamp and use dimensionals both. It's your creativity. You can do whatever you want to do, right? So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this other one here. Now I did die cut some of these. I don't know if you like that or not. I am not sure that wishing flowers are usually dark. So I mean they're usually just white with tips. But I did cut these out just in case I wanted to add some. Oops, it stuck to me. Alright, I think I'm going to pass on that. Alright, but I am going to go ahead and stamp this last dandelion here. And our wish flower, because it's already gone. The first stage of the flower is, it's a dandelion, and it's still a dandelion when it gets through, but as it's processing and you're getting ready to get your wishing flower, it transforms from yellow leaves to the white puffball that you see, which is our wish flower. So all I'm going to do is take this, and I sort of got my stamp thing on wrong when I sat there and did this, but I do know the stamp's got to go right over it, right? Got my image wrong. So, okay, there we go. So that's all we do. So I die cut it. You may want to. Some people like to die cut theirs after they've stamped. For me, I can do it either way. So I would tell you to do whatever you feel most comfortable with. I feel comfortable with this, so I'm fine with it. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to place these here, and I'm going to end up putting them on some dimensionals, right? And we are going to have some words, so it's not going to be a lonely little thing. But meanwhile, first let me go ahead and I need to stamp this, right? We need to get our color on there. And I can still color afterwards if I want to, right? I can. So I'm going to go ahead and get my stamping done out of the way though first. Because believe it or not, I actually smeared stuff on my hands earlier. I can't believe I did that, but I did. But hey, that's what you do when you're sitting there having fun and you're creating. You get ink on you. Lexi knows that too. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put these up on dimensionals. And you're going to see how that looks. And yes, I can color the leaves if I want to. And I'm going to put one on the bottom as well too. Alright, so right here too. Okay, so we'll have both of these sticking up. Now you can color anything you want, right? I can, I showed you how I did the blender pen earlier, so that'd be very easy to come in and do with this. Fill in anything I wanted to fill in. I'm going to actually put one of these up here, because I can, right? And if Lourdes wants me to move it, I can. I would just make it on another card and I move it. And I'll just move this one down a little bit lower, right? Because right now, if you went outside here, you would see dandelions popping up everywhere. Alright, and that's all we're going to do here is we're just going to come in here and add some of these flowers in here. I should say flowers, leaves. And you can actually eat dandelion leaves. They're very good in a salad. They're very good sauteed with kale. So I'm just going to mix them, alright? I can mix them any way I want to. I do have to stick them down, right? I do have to stick, they're not going to stay on their own. So I'm just going to come around and I'm going to stick them, and you know what? It's the same thing with this one here. If I want this one lower, I can lower it. I'll just come trim it off afterwards, right? So don't sweat the small stuff. That's just sweating small stuff. We're just tucking some in here and I can come in and color whatever I want to. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use small dimensionals on this because this will work better because they're leaves. And I want them to be just a little bit lower than the actual wish flowers. And then all we have left to do on here is to put a message, right? And then we're basically done. Basically done. And I do like mixing give it the whole 3D effect that you got one that's going to be painted down, and like I said, we can use the blender pens to go in there and fill that in. And that just makes it easier to sit there if you want to color it in, for me. If I was going to color it beforehand, and then I might have used the blender pens, but I could just as easily used watercolor pencils. I have watercolor pencils those work very nice too to color in. I actually I control those. You know, you can also use the markers they have, and then also we have something else. I can't think of the name of it right now. But I have a tendency to really have a heavy hand when I use the marker type stuff. So that's why I sort of stayed away from it. Maybe I just need to practice more. I'm just trying to see where I want to stick this leaf right here. I'm going to stick one over there. I'm just going to stick one out here this way. You know, because you go outside right now, those leaves, they just are like everywhere. That's just what they do. But you know what? If you leave the dandelions alone, they'll keep on getting taller and taller. I have had dandelions accidentally. They grew when I was out of town, and they were at least 2 to 3 feet tall when I came home. I did not know they could grow that tall, but I had a lot of dandelion flowers that I could sit up there and use. And we did use them. I'm not going to tell you how we used them, but we used them. Alright, I'm going to leave that alone for the moment here. I'm going to go ahead and get my tag, and then I'll see how I want to fill that in, if I want to fill it in. So I'm going to do Made with Love for a True Friend. And I'm actually going to do this on yellow, bright yellow. If it doesn't work for me, you know what? I've got this right here. We can use this here. This is actually a bright yellow, but it's actually also a designer series paper of the bright yellow series. We'll go ahead and use this and see how it looks. If we don't like it, we can change it out. Okay. Oop. And then we'll be ready to put this on. You know what? I just need to clean that. It's like got stamped ink on it, so that means I still got the green on it. You're not going to see the green as well on it. We can try it. We'll see what you think. I'll do the green, the black, and the green. See what you like best. There's the black. Alright, let me go back to the old olive green that we read a minute ago. Let's see here, I got a couple of inks. And see what you like best. Because keep in mind, when you stamp on a color, it isn't always going to look like the color you started out with, right? Because you got to take into consideration the color you're stamping on. It's going to give it a color as well. So I don't know, does it matter to you one way or the other? Let me know. I'm still trying to decide if I want to add another flower, another leaf or not. So you can decide while I'm clipping this off and trimming this off. All I'm going to do is take my scissors right here. Give you an idea what it's shaping up to be. This right here. And then I'm going to end up coloring them in. Alright? I'm going to color in some of these leaves. Alright, so I'm just going to sit there. I don't think it really matters that much. If you notice, it really doesn't seem to matter that much in color. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the green. This is Old Olive is the color. And yes, am I cutting diagonally? Yes, because I stamped diagonally. But by the time I get finished, nobody's going to know that, right? They're not, because, ooh, that might work just like that. I might trim it off just a little bit. And then all I got left is to add some bling and maybe some color. Let's see here. Is it perfect? No. That's okay. I did it by hand. It's still gonna look very pretty, right? So I can come now and put this up with dimensionals, right? Or in this particular case, most probably not, because it's already fairly high because of those. So I'm just gonna use tape on this and stamp and seal, and we're just gonna put it on as soon as I get that going. And then I'm gonna actually add some bumblebees to this. And I'll color. Now I still have to put this down, right? Okay, so I should have actually done this before I started adhering everything else to it. But it'll be okay. If not, I'll use the liquid glue. And that'll help me out. But I think it'll be good. Looks like I'm doing fine. So, yeah, normally I would have most probably done that first before I started sticking everything on, but it's okay. See, there's a solution. Either that or you get an opportunity for creativity. Thank you, Lourdes. So at this here, so one thing that I would do is we're going to go ahead and add some bumblebees, right? After we add bumblebees there, we're going to add some bumblebees here. Alright, and then I'm going to add 3 to 5, right? 3 to 5. So I'm going to put one here, because I can. And I'm going to put another one over here. Because they're always by these yellow flowers, but it doesn't mean they don't go try out the wish flowers. Oop, gosh. Okay, that happened. Oh yeah. Alright, well that'll slip and slide a moment here until I get it off of me. That was more liquidy than I wanted. Okay, that was special. Oh, thank you, thank you. But you're gonna have to turn around. There you go. Okay, that was special. This will have to. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna write this on the silicone mat. Because, you know what? As this stuff dries, it comes off the silicone mat very easy. It came off my hands very easy too. Yay! Alright, so we got one more at least. I'm going to put one over here. Try it on the paper this time. I made a mess out of that one because all of a sudden a bunch of glue came out on me. I wasn't ready for. And I'm going to put this one right here. Alright, so there we go. We've got some embellishment. We've got our die cutting here, and so all that's left is just go fill in wherever you want to fill in. I do have one lonely bumblebee. It might be put on something else since we use odd numbers normally. So at this point, to sit there and finish this off, and that's just all I would do. Just like we did a while ago, I would sit there, and if I was going to fill in the green, especially on here where it's black, I used Oud Olive, so I would just sit there and use the Oud Olive ink here. I left the yellow different earlier. Okay. Yes, I just got yellow on my fingers. That's okay. It'll wash off with soap and water. If not, I can wash dishes and that'll solve it too. Alright, so all I'm going to do is take this off here and we'll just fill in the gaps, right? So that's all we're going to do. Let me see how dark it is. Make sure I don't get too dark. And that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and just fill this in. And, you know, a little ink will go a long way. Lots of times people think you have to use a lot of ink. Not really, okay? You just have to use a little. So all we're doing is just sort of filling in the gaps, right? We're not trying to like do color perfect or anything. We're just trying to sit there and just fill in some of the white space with some color, right? I got some down here that I can come in and color. And you know what? You can also come in and color the stem if you want to. I'm going to leave the black and white on top though, because really and truly those puff flowers are white outside. But what I can add is I can add some wing Costello that'll give it just a little bit of sparkle. Alright, so see how we're going to fill some of this in? We just sort of doodle it in. Now I can come over here and doodle this in too, just to be consistent. And you can see I don't even have to go back and really add ink to it. I still got ink on the tip of this pen. In fact, I want to run it out so I don't have to clean it, right? So I'll just get it down as much as I can. And then same thing here. I would just come in here and I will color the leaves. Just a little bit here. Doesn't take a whole lot. Like I said, you still got ink on here. See? There's still ink on there. And it doesn't take a whole lot. You can see that I've just barely dabbed in there. And I'm just barely dabbing around here. It almost reminds me of chicken scratching, but it's not. I'm actually trying to be sure to sit there and fill in the blanks there, right? Where this white space is. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just filling it so it's not got so much white space there. But I wanted to at least give a variety here. So I've got, like I said, I've got my die cutting, I've got my stamping, and there we go. We just sort of filled it in a little, right? We didn't have to do much there to it. I don't like this here, so I'm going to add this just a little bit more color here. It just seems like it didn't do very good on that color. Alright, see how we just sort of touched that up? Now, same thing with the flowers. I can just as easily, I got yellow on one side and green on the other. I'm waiting to see what else I can get into. Alright, so if you want to finish and do anything else to the center here, we would do the same thing, right? You can do the same thing with the black. If I want to intensify the center of that, that'd be one thing I could do. Is just add some black around up there. And we would do the same thing. We're using the same tool, but I gotta be sure once I get through to clean it off, right? And if I just want to intensify it a little bit in there, I can. It's not perfect. If you went outside and looked outside, you go see it's not a perfect circle, right? It's got sort of like a little blurry edge around it and everything like that. So there you go. So the only other thing I might want to do is come in here and add some more yellow to the other flowers. Thank you, Tori. I appreciate that. It's supposed to look earthy, right? Alright. And if you guys have never eaten dandelions before and just feel like you want to try it out, or you're not sure, let me know and I'll be sure to saute. I can tell you anything sauteed with bacon grease always tastes good. I'm not sure if it's the bacon grease we're going for or if we're going for the flavor of it, but dandelions, especially if you sit there and pick them when they're young, they're very tender. They look just like your regular garden salad you'd get at the grocery store, and you'd be surprised. Lots of times the grocery store does have dandelions in there. They don't say that. Lots of times they'll say spring greens. So that's how they do it. But in other countries, they actually eat the dandelions because they're very healthy for you, and they're a natural diuretic as well as high in vitamins. They're like the number 3 top green to eat. Alright, so there you go. So the only last thing touch that I would add, if I added anything, is wink of Stella, because that will give a little bling to the end tips of my wishing flowers. So all I'm going to do is this, is I'm just going to brush it just lightly across it, and I'll show you in a minute. You'll be able to see the little bit of sparkle that's done. You gotta be careful when you sit there and come around some of it, because I just went across that black and just wanting to pick up that black. So I was thinking, did not want to do that. Okay, so you'll be able to see it. It's just a light shimmer sheen, very, very light. Okay, there you go. So there we have it. We have our simple card that we started with here, where we did heat embossing. We stepped it up by adding a little bit of bling and a label and all that was punched. And then here we did our die cutting as well as our stamping and our beads as well to step it up even more. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it today, and I will take you up on that, Lourdes. I'm fixing you some dandelion greens as soon as they grow a little bit taller. But I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure, if you did, be sure to share and like us, not only here on Facebook, but also on YouTube. Right now, we have a thing going on with Zoe, because Zoe's birthday is next week, and so she's giving away something every night, 8 p.m. on YouTube. So check it out on YouTube, Zoe and Anna Stamping. And be sure you mark down what your favorite item is, so if your name's drawn, then you know what you'll be getting. Alright? So be blessed, have an adventuresome week. Be sure to go out and create something, share, and give away, alright? See you next week. Bye.